Welcome to a new video from the Retribution Vault. Today we enter one of the most disturbing cases in modern European history. 3 teenage girls who simply wanted to dance, and the 2 men who made sure they never came home. What followed was not just a murder investigation, but a media circus, a conspiracy spiral, and a fugitive who has not been seen in over 30 years. The question that haunts Spain to this day is not only what happened in that ravine, but whether we will ever truly know. January 27th, 1993. 2 beekeepers climb a hillside in the Spanish province of Valencia. Routine work. Then one of them sees something glinting in the mud. A wristwatch, still attached to an arm. 75 days earlier, 3 teenage girls had vanished from this same region of Spain. 14-year-old Miriam, 15-year-old Toñi, 14-year-old Desirée. An entire nation had been searching for them. 30,000 volunteers, military helicopters, prayers on primetime television. Now their families were about to learn the answer. Gabriela Quino and José Sala never finished checking their beehives that morning. The rain had softened the earth. Something had risen to the surface. 3 bodies, semi-buried in a pit that had been dug in advance. Murdered, every single one. Alcàsser, Valencia, a small town of orange groves and red soil, fewer than 10,000 people, an hour south of the city. In 1992, nobody outside the province had ever heard of it. Miriam Garcia loved music. Toñi Gomez was shy, warm, devoted to her friends. Desirée Hernandez, Desi, had packed a sports bag for ice skating the next morning. 3 girls, 3 ordinary lives, and a Friday night they could not wait for. That afternoon, Toñi called a local radio station and dedicated a song to her best friends. It was the last recording ever made of her voice. That evening, the 3 of them decided to hitchhike to a school party at a nearby disco called Cooler, only 4 kilometers from home. Miriam called her father to ask for a ride. He was in bed with the flu. He said no. He would carry that moment for the rest of his life. A neighbor gave them a lift part way, but his car broke down. He dropped them at a petrol station on the edge of Picassent. A witness there later told police she saw the 3 girls climb into a white sedan, possibly an Opel Corsa, with 2 men inside. Those men were Antonio Anglés and Miguel Ricard. The girls never reached the disco. What happened next comes from Miguel Ricard's own statement, the one the court found most credible. When the girls realized the car was not stopping, they complained. Ricard told Anglés to turn around. Anglés refused. He struck the girls with the butt of a pistol and bound their hands. He said, and this is recorded verbatim, that in his car, he was the one in charge. The 2 men drove the girls to a remote ravine called La Romana, isolated mountain terrain Anglés knew well, a place he used to hide from police. There, across that night and into the early hours of November 14th, all 3 girls were assaulted, tortured, and killed, each with a single gunshot. Then they were buried in a pit that had been prepared in advance. The men went home. For 75 days, Spain searched. The Interior Minister personally oversaw the operation. 30,000 volunteers combed hillsides. Families printed posters in multiple languages and sent them across Europe and North Africa. The detail that haunts me: the entire time, the girls were less than 50 kilometers from home, buried in the dark, in a pit their killers had dug before the abduction. When the bodies were found on January 27th, police discovered 3 key pieces of evidence in the grave: a glove belonging to Miguel Ricard, a spent bullet casing, and a social security document issued to the brother of Antonio Anglés. Those 3 items effectively solved the case within hours. The problem was that one of the killers was already gone. Ricard had actually walked into a police barracks voluntarily, called in as a known associate of Anglés. By midnight of that same day, he had confessed. His statement described the crimes with a consistency that matched every piece of forensic evidence. Then he recanted, claiming the Guardia Civil had tortured him. He would spend the next 3 decades walking that line between confession and denial. While Ricard was being arrested, Antonio Anglés was executing his escape. The civil guard knocked on his family's door in Catarroja. He was gone. Minutes earlier, he had jumped from a back window using knotted bed sheets and vanished across the rooftops. He surfaced weeks later in Minglanilla, forcing a farmer at knife point to drive him west. It was the last confirmed sighting of Anglés on Spanish soil. In March of 1993, Anglés was spotted in Lisbon. He allegedly changed his hair color and slipped aboard a cargo ship, the City of Plymouth, bound for Liverpool as a stowaway. A sailor discovered him. He was locked in a cabin. He escaped, twice. A French reconnaissance aircraft spotted him on a raft off the Irish coast. The ship retrieved him. When Irish police boarded at Dublin port, the cabin was empty. He had used a rope through the window. And then, nothing. Ricard's conviction in 1997 did not close the case. It opened a second war, this one fought on television. Fernando Garcia, Miriam's father, became the loudest voice of what he called the real truth. He had developed a theory that Ricard and Anglés were not acting alone. That powerful men, politicians, businessmen, were behind the murders. That snuff videos existed. The conspiracy theory gained fuel from an unexpected source. A forensic expert hired by the families, Dr. Luis Frontela, analyzed 15 hairs found on the bodies. He identified 7 distinct DNA profiles. None matched Ricard. None matched Anglés. None matched the victims. The implication was staggering. Could there have been 5, 6, 7 more men in that ravine? Fernando Garcia and journalist Juan Ignacio Blanco took that data to primetime television and built a cathedral of accusation. They named names. They alleged cover-ups. They pointed at members of the civil guard, at prosecutors, at forensics, calling them, on live television, incompetent frauds. Spain watched. Millions of viewers. Ratings no one had seen before. The circus had begun. The conspiracy theory never produced a shred of verifiable evidence. In 2009, a court had heard enough. Fernando Garcia was ordered to pay 270,000 euros in defamation damages. Journalist Juan Ignacio Blanco received a 2-year prison sentence and 260,000 euros in fines. Blanco died in 2019, maintaining he possessed a snuff video of the murders. No such video has ever been produced. He died, as far as the evidence shows, still lying. On September 5th, 1997, after 49 sessions of trial, Miguel Ricard was convicted. 170 years in prison. Rape, abduction, murder, illegal burial. 3 counts of each. Moments before sentence was read, Ricard stood and said, "I only want to say that I am innocent and that my conscience is completely clear." He served 21 years. Released in November 2013, when the European Court of Justice struck down Spain's extended sentencing doctrine. He left prison maintaining his innocence, pointing always at Anglés as the real killer. In 2020, police found him in a squat buying drugs. In 2022, he was arrested again, in a narco apartment in Barcelona, the night the bodies were found, before families had even been officially notified. A television presenter named Nieves Herrero entered the Garcia home live on national television. The grief of a father, raw, unfiltered, unconfirmed, was broadcast to all of Spain. 30 million viewers. Many media historians trace the birth of Spanish tabloid television, Telebasura, to that single broadcast, to that moment, to that room. The 30,000 people who came to bury the 3 girls in Alcàsser. That is a fact no theory can corrupt. Toñi's mother told an interviewer she washed her hair, dried it with the hairdryer, and she said, "Mum, doesn't my hair look nice? Goodbye, Mum, I'm going." She walked out the door. She never came back. Antonio Anglés turns 59 this year. Interpol maintains an active red notice. Europol has circulated aged progression portraits. Spanish law says his crimes do not expire until 2029. Police officially consider him alive. He has not been confirmed dead. He has not been found. He has not been punished. He is simply elsewhere. The Netflix documentary arrived in 2019. New podcasts, new hashtags, new theories. Every year, new theories. The case has become a kind of national wound that Spain cannot stop reopening. Perhaps because the alternative, accepting that 2 men from a small town simply did this alone and one escaped, is too ordinary to survive. 3 girls who wanted to dance on a Friday night. Miriam, Toñi, Desirée. Their names belong to them, not to the theories, not to the television programs, not to the fugitive still out there somewhere. To them,